the add, edit, and delete functionality. So let's start with the add. So I'm going to open up inside of my controller, my jobs controller, and I'm going to create a new function down at the bottom. Okay, so this will be to add job. So public function add, and this isn't going to take any parameters. So this method is going to actually be used to, we're going to display the form, and we're also going to have the form submitted to it. Alright, so we need to have a test to see if the form was submitted. Okay, so basically we can just copy this right here. I guess it would have been easier to just type that out, but yeah, so we're going to test to see if it's submitted. But before we go any further, let's go create the view. So view, jobs, new file, add.ctp. Okay, so let's just test this. Okay, this should go to jobs add. Alright, so that's working. Now what I want to do is grab from our HTML template the, oh, we didn't even create it, did we? We didn't create an add job page. Alright. Actually, I did that on purpose. I just remembered. I want to use the form helper that Cake PHP offers, and you don't have to use it. Obviously, you don't have to because we haven't used it yet. We've had forms, but we've just used regular HTML. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of just a different way to create your forms. All right. So this is going to be basically all PHP. Alright, so PHP. Now to open the form, usually you do form in HTML. We're going to say this form create job. Okay, so we're going to create a job form. Alright, so next we're going to create a field set. We're just going to use HTML for that. That's what gives it that gray background. Alright, so we'll have our first field, which will be the title. So we could say echo this form input, and then we want the name, which will be title. Alright, now let's just test this out. Let's close off this PHP block and see what this gives us. Okay, so it gives us, we get the field set, the gray background. It gives us a label and an input box. And if we look at the source code for this, you can see that it gives us a label for job title, okay, and then we have an input. We have the name of data, job title. The default max length is 100. It's a text field, and it gives it the ID of job title. And you can see the form. It also wraps it in a div, input text, and the form is generated. Where's the form? I guess it doesn't have a form tag. That's kind of weird. Oh, we didn't echo it. That's why. Okay, let's see what that gives us. Okay, so now we have a form, the action, It goes to jobs, add, gives it an ID, character set, so that's pretty good. You can see that it's a minimal amount of code. We don't have to type as much. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some more fields. I'm just going to copy this here. Next, we're going to have the company name. Okay, we want the category. We're going to call this category ID. And this is going to be a select field, so this is a little different. We need to actually add a little bit here. We're still going to use this form input and then the name, and then we're going to tack on an array, an options array. Okay, so the first one is, the first value is going to be the type, and it's going to be select. Okay, now options. Now our options are going to come from the database. It's going to show our categories. So I'm going to set that to categories, which I'm going to define in the controller. And then we can even say empty, and we can add the value that's going to be empty. So I want it to just say select category. So that's going to be treated as if it's empty. And that should be good. Okay, so next we're going to have the type, which is almost the same thing. So I'm going to copy that. This is going to be type ID. Okay, select, and then we're going to have a variable called types. And this should be a comma. Same with this. Okay, empty, we're going to say select type. Okay, so next will be the description. Description, and then city. State. Contact email. And then we need to end the form. So this is going to be echo this form end. And then in here we're going to put whatever we want the button to say. So it's going to say add job. Alright, so I actually really like Cake's form helper. I'm not too fond of code igniters, but I think this syntax is really easy. You can plug in your options array. You have your empty field, so I really like it. So if we reload, okay, we're getting undefined variable categories and types. That's to be expected. We didn't add them to the controller yet. And just to save time, I'm just going to copy these in, or paste these in. You want it so it's out of this post, this if statement. So you want to do before it. Alright, so this is nothing that we haven't seen before. We're just setting our options and getting an order of categories by the name. Then we're assigning the find. Okay, we're using find here and assigning it to categories. We're setting it for our view and doing the same exact thing with the type. Alright, so reload. Okay, now we have our categories and our types coming from the database. So these forms, I don't like them squished together like this, and I also want to add some shadow to the selects like the text fields have. So I'm going to go open my CSS file in my web root. Style, and I'm going to add, actually it looks like I already did add them. I'm going to add a margin to these. Top right bottom left. Okay, so that looks better. Now for the select fields, actually I'm going to add that in there as well, just select. And now I'm just going to paste in some code for the select. Just giving it a height, same height as the text, 200 pixels wide, box shadow. Okay, so that'll make that look better. Alright, I want to have our label up here, our legend. So back in the add view, I'm going to paste this in after the field set. Okay, so echo add job listing. And this here, this double underscore parentheses, this is for language. It'll help adding translation to your application, and it works much like WordPress, where we see this as well. Okay, so save that. Okay, so that looks good, nice looking form. Now we just need to handle. We need a handler, and we're going to do that down here. So we're going to call this job create. Okay, so you see that we really don't even need to write any SQL code. Cake has these wrappers, these database helpers, I guess you could call them, that pretty much do all the work. All right, so that'll try to create the job for us. Now, one thing, if we look at our database, if we go to our jobs table, you'll see that we have a user ID. All right, now this, we don't want to input this. This should be taken from whoever's logged in at that time that's submitting a job, but we don't have our login and registration system in place yet. So what I'm going to do is just make it just a 1 for now until we can actually substitute it with the actual user's ID. So we'll say save log user ID. We'll say this request data job and user ID. Okay, I'm going to set this to 1 for now. Okay, and then we're going to say if this job save, and then we just want to pass in this data request. I'm sorry, this request data. So in order to use these shortcuts that Cake offers us, you need to make sure that your field names are the same as they are inside of your tables. Actually, hold on a second. I don't have. Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, company name. I thought I was missing that. Yeah, so I mean, it's all about convention. You know, you have to name things the right way in order for things like this to work. So basically, this line is just saying if the save is successful, what are we going to do? We're going to do two things. We're going to set a message and then redirect. So to set a message, we can use this session helper. So this session set flash. All right, and then inside there we'll put our message, and we want to use this language syntax. Actually, we don't need these quotes here. Okay, and we'll just say your job has been listed. Okay, so that'll set the message, and then we need to redirect. So we'll say return this redirect, and then that takes an array, and this is going to be our action index. Okay, so basically this is going to just bring us to the action function, which is the home page. All right, and let's see down here, if it doesn't save, if we have an issue, then we'll just output a message, and we'll say unable to add your job. Alright, save that, and let's go ahead and give it a shot. Say test job, test company, category, we'll say technology, type full-time, this is a sample city, I can't even spell my own city, Boston, Mass, contact, test at test. Okay, add job, and there it is. Alright, and you can see it also has our message output. The only thing is I just want this at the top. So let's just go back to the index up here. And job.created, I think we should have this as descending. Let's see if that works. There we go, now we're at the top. Browse jobs, okay, that was right anyways. So we can now add jobs. Next we want to be able to edit jobs. Now to completely have the right functionality, we need to implement users, because we don't want anybody to edit a job. You need to obviously be logged in and have it be your job. And then we'll also look at deleting jobs.